Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 96 of the Sensible Sociopath podcast. We are here with you live on a Friday. And Roma, this is the show where the truth is broken and the truth is spoken and the rules are broken.
You were close.
I was close on that one. Actually, I meant to write a different one, but I forgot to.
Nice.
But that's okay, because I think that one's kind of a strong contender
I
because
like it.
It's pretty tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
But it's also true.
It's totally true.
So we have a great episode today. You can live chat with us during all of our controversial conversation. And we would like you to smash the like button,
Smash
shoot
it.
the share-o to all of your friends and family, and sub as hard as you can. Please.
I like it.
Yeah. So today, Roma, I really wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind really since I've been a conscious being,
Okay.
a sentient being, let's say.
I can't wait.
So we've talked about my tuna trials, right?
Yes. I think we
And-
covered that last week.
Yeah, and it's been a little bit improved. I had a decent tuna sandwich,
Oh, good.
but out of all of them, pretty much just the one out of maybe 5. And these
Okay.
are sandwich experts I'm going to.
Okay.
And some high-end sandwich experts, $7-8 a sandwich.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. What's in there?
Tuna?
Embryos? I don't know. So I wanted to come up with a little bit of sandwich theory
Okay.
and just share some of my relative knowledge as a purveyor of sandwiches and a consumer of sandwiches. Because as you know, I used to work at Blimpies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once upon a time. I actually worked there too
Roma did work there, but
for like a month.
yeah, no one acknowledges that. I wish he wouldn't have brought it up. Honestly, we're probably going to get taken down off YouTube now.
Sorry.
So, so the first thing I wanted to talk about was something terrible that happened to me, where so when you get a piece of bread, you want something kind of crusty and a little rustic with tuna because it tends to be more moist
Sure.
than
I could
just
see that. Yeah.
regular sliced meats. Especially if you got it nice and mayonnaise-y and things.
Mm-hmm.
So I went with a French roll. And so I went to a local grocer and they had this little bread company called Panera. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. Anyways, nobody's heard of it. But no, actually, they're quite a large bread company that actually makes restaurants and they're good. You know,
So they're a bread company?
I think they started off as a bakery and then became some kind of a cafe.
Okay.
And then it turned into, sandwiches, soup, salads, but like mid-high, end. I would say you could go there in business casual and be perfectly comfortable.
Okay. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Yeah.
Like you wouldn't blow your nose on a Snot-rocket on the floor
Right.
like you would at
That-
most other,
That
like
level of classy.
like at Zupas, you would. Because that place is a piece of shit, and I'll tell you about that someday.
Okay.
So Panera had something what they called a French baguette.
Okay.
And baguette meaning stick. There are
I did
other
not
words
know
that
that.
mean bundles of sticks that we're not allowed to say on the stream.
Okay.
But it said French baguette. And so I'm thinking of a certain, soft on the inside, crusty on the outside,
Yeah.
delicious, golden,
East Coast style.
very much, yeah. Basically what you would put any sub sandwich on, a hero, a hoagie of sorts. Not like a Kaiser, but anyways. When I cut into it, I was blown away, Roma. What was in there? Ciabatta. It was 100% ciabatta.
Okay, you need to explain ciabatta to me. I know
Sure.
I've had it.
So ciabatta is an Italian bread that is very hearty. So
Okay.
that's the one good thing about it is it's very like you can basically like put it in stew
It's a lot of crust.
or minestrone or something.
Yeah.
And it's got large holes,
Mm-hmm.
or large air pockets.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very airy, but it's very dense and tough in between those airy pockets.
Okay.
So it's almost like an English muffin,
Okay.
like a Thomas English muffin, because they have the big Craigs,
Mm-hmm.
which fill up with butter. It's delicious.
It is delicious.
But you got to get a little black on the char on there when you toast it.
I didn't know.
Yes, it's what McDonald's does right for breakfast. So this ciabatta, so basically they call it French bread. Completely, what they did was they took the dough from the ciabatta and then they just elongated it because a ciabatta is generally a
Yeah.
like a roll.
Yeah. They tend to be like flat and
And a
square.
little square,
Yeah.
Jack in the Box had a Chipotle ciabatta
I
sandwich.
remember that. It was pretty good.
It wasn't bad. It was during a time when Chipotle and ciabatta were both acceptable and trendy. Nowadays, it's more sriracha, although that's starting to wane.
Wayne.
And it's sriracha and brioche. That's the new trend.
I don't know what brioche is.
Everything has a brioche roll. It's a nice, like, soft. I don't know. It's a pretty good roll. I kind of like it. But those are kind of the newer trends. So they're getting rid of all this shitty old yeasty ciabatta roll, and they make it into a French bread. So I guess my point is, Panera betrayed me.
Okay.
They're liars.
Okay.
And I will only go there for their French onion soup from now on.
Okay. Fair enough. So it must be pretty good.
They do have some pretty good French onion.
Okay.
But I'm going to still shoot Snot-rockets at Zupas. That place. Do you want to say hi to everyone before I get into my sandwich theory?
There's not a whole lot of everyone.
Excellent.
There's Sarah and Marco and Kat and Tammy.
Well, it's the great weather, Roma. That's the problem.
Yep. Everybody's out doing Friday night stuff.
Yeah, which is okay.
Sarah said it's business casual sandwich.
Yes, that sounds perfectly reasonable. Yeah, and you get a nice cup of soup and salad, and it's not ice cold like your soup isn't ice cold and your salad isn't warm like at Zupas.
I was just gonna say, you go to Zupas and they put the soup in a cold bowl.
Yes, that's exactly it.
It's ridiculous.
That is one of my and I said, hey, could you heat up this bowl? They're like, we could put it in a microwave. I was like, wait, you don't have a bowl warmer? Like, I didn't accidentally get a cold bowl?
Yeah.
Like, no, that's how we do it here. It's like, okay. Seems like a really shitty way to do soup.
Yeah.
If you're going to be 1/3 of your business is going to be soup. But it's not my call to make, Roma, okay? Not a purveyor of soups.
Yeah, well, but you are one of sandwiches.
Absolutely. So, here's kind of my ground rules on sandwiches because I feel like a lot of people suck at sandwiches.
Okay.
So, the first thing is that sandwiches can't be bland. And I'll kind of go through the rules and then I'll show people what I mean.
Oh, I can't wait.
On how to do that. So, starts off with sandwiches can't be bland. A lot of people they don't like to they don't like to include the most flavorful of ingredients.
Okay.
And some of these examples that I have are like rye bread. So rye bread is very flavorful.
I love it.
It's one of the best breads to do any kind of sandwich on. I even like a peanut butter and jelly on rye bread.
I don't know if I've ever done that.
It's not necessary, but and I'm not really focusing on the peanut butter and jelly arena because it's a little too sweet for my taste. I'm more of a savory sandwich kind of person.
Okay.
Not a Monte Cristo guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love peanut butter, banana, and honey sandwiches.
I've heard of that.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and I think that's too much.
It's desserty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't that what killed Elvis? Oh, that and the drugs. But other than that,
The heart disease.
yeah. So The one thing about the ciabatta bread from Panera was how durable it was.
Okay.
You know, you could barely bite through it. A human being could barely bite through it. But it really was a stable foundation for the sandwich. So you have to have some sort of durability. And your bread has to be scaled to the sloppiness of your sandwich, really.
Okay.
I know that's not a sexy way to put it, but if your sandwich is going to, exude flavorful ingredients, it's going to start getting messy and potentially fall apart on you if you do not have the proper gauge of bread.
I have a terrible time with burgers.
Yeah.
Eating burgers, like the burger always slips out, and then you end up having like too much bread at the end. I have the hardest time.
You gotta tamp your burger, Roma.
I have the hardest.
Tamp it so that it pops out the top like a push it pop.
Push pop.
Push pop.
Yep.
That's it. Yeah.
Kat says she's never met a sandwich she didn't like.
That's true. Now, yeah, they're, but I feel like they can always be improved upon. And that's hopefully what I'm going to imbue to some of the audience today.
Okay, fair enough.
If you're not a sandwich person, because I feel like anybody can be a sandwich person.
I think so.
And speaking of which, the introductory sandwich to being an enlightened sandwich eater is the Reuben sandwich.
I love a good Reuben.
And a lot of people have not tried it, and
I think the sauerkraut scares them.
It does. Thousand Island. It's all of the things they don't tend to eat.
Right.
If you're
Unless
not
you're
a
Polish.
sandwich person. Yeah. Because it's all of it is the epitome of strong flavors. So you've got the rye bread, it's toasted, buttery. You've got Swiss sauerkraut, as you mentioned, corned beef or pastrami, generally corned beef, and Thousand Island dressing. Some people will put a mustard on it, and that's why I always ask. And every now and then you'll go to a place and they'll try to put coleslaw on it rather than sauerkraut. But that's just because they don't carry sauerkraut, but yet they still decided to try to make a Reuben.
I don't know about that.
It's horrific, and I will shoot a snot rocket on the floor. So I feel like that's your entry into like, am I the next level sandwich person?
Okay.
Is can you get one and enjoy it? And when you walk in to get a Reuben sandwich, you have to make sure that they have a flat grill. They have a flat grill where they can grill your bread and toss your sauerkraut and your, basically just kind of fry it all up and put it together. The other thing is never purchase a sandwich from anyone who has not made and eaten that sandwich, or at least eaten the sandwich. So if you go and you say, hey, is this sandwich good? And they go, I've never eaten it.
Don't get it.
And don't get it.
Okay.
Because they will not know how to make it. And really nothing will stand out to you more if someone has eaten a Reuben before than eating a Reuben made by someone who's never eaten a Reuben.
I could see that.
Because you will get a layer of sauerkraut on there that's like razor thin, hardly any Thousand Island on it. And what I tell people is I'm like, no, you need to, like, that thing needs to be like weighted with.
Yes.
It needs to be messy. It needs to be
absolutely. That's kind of the whole point.
Absolutely.
That'd be like getting a sloppy Joe with like a thin layer of sloppy.
Yes, exactly. It's all Joe. And that's it. You have to ask for extra kraut, like Margot's saying, or extra kraut and extra sauce. And you can even get the sauce on the side, which is fine. If you're, concerned about
how much extra is.
Yeah, exactly. But really, it's all going to come out of the sandwich anyways if there's too much of it. I say really it is a physics anomaly, or an impossibility in our world of Newtonian physics that you could ever put too much sauerkraut and too much Thousand Island on a Reuben.
Okay.
I feel that is not a possibility. Just laws of physics will not allow. So let them try, is what I'm saying. A bird cannot be redeemed, Buy any amount of cheese, bacon, avocado,
a bird
or condiments. Yes.
Okay.
And I just say it that way because there are turkey sandwiches and chicken sandwiches.
Get
and,
it.
you know.
Yep.
And I'm speaking mostly of cold cuts because there is a combination of deep frying and spicy that makes a chicken breast delicious.
Correct.
So there are good spicy chicken sandwiches out there.
Absolutely.
Just mayo, lettuce, and tomato. That's all it needs. Maybe pickle. But that's the only chicken sandwich anyone should be allowed to eat.
Okay.
Because bacon and Swiss and all of that do not make a grilled chicken breast, ranch, any of that stuff. Doesn't make it worth it.
No.
So, but this is especially for cold cuts. If you order a chicken cold cut sandwich, you should be made to leave the country.
I don't think I've ever ordered it. I don't think I've ever bought chicken cold cuts.
Yeah. It's pretty much like styrofoam that is wet. It's like wet pieces of styrofoam that you would see in the sea. It's got the foam from the protein around it.
Yeah. Ugh.
So that's how I feel about birds on bread. I hate birds in general.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're not a big fan of birds.
Not a big bird guy.
No.
Not a bird man, Roma.
My long time friend, and she's a friend. She's been my friend.
I meant to play
that. Oh, my God.
When we first... And my lovely producer.
My long time friend.
Hi,
she's
guys.
A friend. She's been my friend.
That's Roma.
I have not heard that clip. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one.
It's officially a classic.
Yeah, already. So every day on the intro, that's what you're getting, Roma. Just, he died like 6 years ago, right, Steve? Been doing this show.
I'm into it.
Yeah. Let's talk condiments, Roma.
I love condiments.
So, Dijon mustard is inferior to deli mustard. Brown, spicy, glutens type mustard.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Dijon mustard has that kind of wine flavor to it,
right,
and a little bit of the spice.
It's a little on the sweet side.
And I don't. It's to me, it's just not. It's not an enjoyable
like
flavor.
Grey Poupon.
Yeah, I didn't grow up with eating Dijon, and I have not acquired that flavor, that taste. Dijon is an area of France, which France is known for their culinary,
mustard.
Culinary mustard, yes. Also non-mustard things, but mostly that. Champagne, other things.
Put mustard on your croissants.
Not Dijon. I'll do deli mustard on a croissant. That'd probably be pretty good. Nice and buttery. And your deli mustard should be at least Gouldens.
Gouldens?
I don't know.
Gouldens?
Yeah. And then it should have some horseradish in it.
I love horseradish.
Mm-hmm. And it can be the whole brown seed, or it can be crushed brown seed. Yeah. Heavy duty mayo should be used whenever possible.
I love mayo.
And this is heavy duty. And if you work in the food service industry, you'll see bottles that actually say heavy duty mayo.
What makes it heavy duty versus not heavy duty?
You can probably grease an axle of a truck with it. So
fair enough.
Yes. It's goddamn good. And that's one of the reasons I really like the tuna at Blimpie's. It's because they use the heavy duty mayo.
Yeah.
And when I went to Subway, I got low fat mayo was the only thing they had.
That's bullshit.
Guess what probably went in the tuna?
Low fat mayo.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
That's what I'm saying.
So Miracle Whip is no substitute for mayo, Roma.
I've never in my life ever decided to put Miracle Whip on anything.
Absolutely. Yeah. If I was trying to disgrace a body,
I think it's a
Before
regional
burying
thing.
I would put Miracle Whip on it.
I'm pretty sure it's a regional thing, like Midwest,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. And I think if if you're out in the wilderness and you're concerned about animals attacking you, you can grease yourself up in it and no animal will bite you.
I've heard that.
Because Miracle Whip is toxic to animals of all types.
Sarah says, "Don't talk to me about mayo," and then Kat says, "Mayo is life."
Whoa, stuff's getting pretty heated. Getting pretty heated in the chat. Easy, ladies. Nobody slap anybody's wigs off now. All right. I'm just assuming they both wear wigs.
It's possible.
Yeah, anything's possible, Roma. So, Roma, Swiss cheese, I would say, is the ultimate cheese for sandwiches.
Okay, I disagree.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Well, it depends on the sandwich.
Okay.
So, sometimes you want cheddar, sometimes you want American if you're going trashy.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you need provolone.
Absolutely. So Italian subs are going to be provolone. I'm not a big cheddar person. So cheddar is usually going to be usually going to be reserved for, I don't know exactly what I would use cheddar for. It doesn't really have a place in my sandwich pyramid.
Ham
and Swiss, though.
I mean, ham and Swiss is good.
Yeah.
I do like
I'm just
cheddar.
saying, as far as a Swiss Army knife of cheese.
I feel like cheddar goes with beef, specifically.
Beef and cheddar.
Mm-hmm.
The old B and C. I do. So, pepper jack every now and then. Now, American cheese is going to be absolutely or pretty much the only thing I'll accept on a double cheeseburger
is really what? American cheese. Absolutely.
I want a salty orange square.
Yes. That's like gelatinous and like
no flavor, just like this.
It's all about the texture.
Yeah, it's like a glue, but I don't know. It's like slippery. And
yes.
It's just sexy. There's something sexy about a good piece of
it's a texture
processed cheese.
We've got some chat here. So Sarah says Miracle Whip is the Midwest's greatest sin.
Okay.
And then Kat says Havarti, and then Sarah says Munster.
Okay. And those, my only problem with those is that they're a little mild for me.
Yeah.
And same thing with provolone. But with an Italian sub, where I would want provolone, the cheese is not the star. The cheese is not what you're coming to the plate for. But yes, both perfectly good, perfectly acceptable, and I would absolutely, and Gouda. Gouda's good, a little smoked Gouda especially. Pepper jack, like I was mentioning. But honestly, if I have a pack of Swiss, I can pretty much make any sandwich and it's still good. So, it's not fancy, but it's utility.
It works.
Yes. Most sandwiches would benefit from either a deli mustard or mustard of some kind, but mustard or vinegar.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I think a lot of people skip those, and I'm not exactly sure why. And there are examples where a yellow mustard is good, so just like regular French's mustard.
Mm-hmm.
Like toast, ham, cheese, or sometimes toast and just ham, like cooked ham and mustard. Really good. But that's very simple.
Margot says sharp cheddar. See, I love sharp cheddar.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And I love to eat sharp cheddar, and I like cheddar on like my beans and rice. But like with like sour cream and salsa and stuff. Green verde salsa, of course.
What kind of beans do you like? Black
Pinto.
beans? Oh.
How dare you, Roma?
Come on, man.
Don't be afraid to throw some vinegar and mustard on your sandwiches. And Roma, I don't know how many times I have to tell people this, but a quarter of a pickle, at least 1/4, is standard issue with all sandwiches, except during famine and war. Those are the only times you can serve a sandwich without a goddamn pickle spear.
I would tend to agree with that.
And I will shoot a snot rocket on your floor.
I'm just, Kim says that no effing point to low-fat mayo. It's a conspiracy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I bet, you know what? I bet you that's how they sterilize us. Because nobody wants to have sex after after eating low-fat mayo. You're just like, I don't know.
Feel dirty.
Don't feel like it.
The wrong type of dirty.
Yeah. It's how they take away your masculinity, Roma. They strip you of everything you had. So, Roma, do you want to go ahead and share the photos that I
Absolutely
came up with? And so I put myself. Oh, go ahead and turn that off. Yep. And so I went ahead and really did a great service for all of us.
Oh, thank you.
And what I did was I made sandwiches, or made a sandwich.
I was like, you made us sandwiches?
I mean, I made one and then I ate it.
Oh.
Okay. So, what you're seeing here is this is just some plain bread. It is not like thick cut or anything. I didn't toast it.
It's like honey wheat.
I think it's like one of those 9-grain wheat breads, but perfectly acceptable. Bread's not the star. And one of the things I wanted to demonstrate here was something called coast to coast.
Okay.
So in the sandwich industry, as a purveyor of sandwiches, when you add a condiment, it is requisite that you go coast to coast and you completely cover the bread in that condiment.
I have a story. One time I went somewhere with a group of people and somebody had made everybody sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And it was like in the middle of the bread. It didn't even hit. It barely. There was probably a 1/4 inch of not peanut butter or jelly around the entire thing, and it was very upsetting.
Yeah, absolutely. It is one of the cardinal sins of sandwich making.
Kim
thank
says,
you, Kim.
Nice coverage.
Kim's a big fan of my sandwich style so far. And so what I'm making is a tuna sandwich. Now, if I was making a pretty much any other sandwich, I would probably do mayo on one side and then mustard on the other. And which side you put it on is actually important. So which side is going to be towards your tongue versus towards the roof of your mouth kind of just depends on who you are and what you enjoy. You can always turn your sandwich over if you have to. Okay, so we can go to the next one.
I don't know how to go to the next one.
Oh, just if you go to the far right of the screen, there should be a little arrow that pops up.
Aha.
Yep. Okay, go ahead. That was just a second picture I took. Okay. So here's some homemade tuna fish. So I made it with some good mayonnaise. I like Hellman's. It's one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Now, within my tuna, I cut up Clausen pickles.
Very nice.
Yes, and that's the only pickle I generally use for most applications.
I just buy the cheapest relish I can find.
Or that I did put a little bit of sweet relish in there just to kind of try it out, try something new, because I'm not afraid to get outside my comfort zone. Roma.
Okay. Brave man you are.
Yeah. I also put fresh onion in it.
Very
and
nice.
I just, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, nothing major, nothing fancy. I did put it into a sifter and put it over the bowl. I was going to, basically like a flour sifter.
Sure.
Screen,
Yeah.
When I was draining the tuna, so that I put it in the bowl and then you dump the tuna water out and you let it sit and then dump the, just so you can get it not as dry as possible.
See, I like mine moist. I leave.
And it still was quite moist because I did like 4 cans or 6 cans or something. I don't know.
For one sandwich?
I mean, I did have a whole French roll that I ate before that. So, over several days. So, as you can see, I have a nice thick layer.
Yep.
I'm not afraid of it popping out of the sandwich. That's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that. I'm prepared for that. I don't eat it in a car. Mm-hmm. I don't eat it over a baby.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
It's a baby. So, so just showing you kind of that nice thick layer. So the next, you want to go? So this one I'm showing you that cheese is rarely square. Generally, it's going to be a bit rectangular. And so in this, I cut the cheese or broke the cheese with the longest length.
Uh-huh.
And then so basically I got the most coverage of the sandwich. If I would have turned it the other way, it would have overlapped more and it would not have covered top to bottom like it did here.
Right.
So you just make sure, you Ralph Waldo Emerson, maybe it was Henry David Thoreau, but they said that a man must live deliberately.
Okay.
So
I think the Buddha said that too.
view your cheese deliberately, Roma.
Yeah.
And I want you to make actions that give you the best coverage.
Okay.
Okay? Okay.
Oh, that looks so good.
So here's where the rubber meets the road. Where's your Clausen at? Why didn't you cut a quarter of it up into slices and then leave the other quarter, which is requisite in times that are not famine or war? Okay. You didn't hear anything about pandemics. You still owed a pickle. So. Oh, did I say cut the cheese? Oops. It was completely unintentional. There's nothing that's a joke here. Capers. I have not put capers in my tuna.
I could be down with that though.
Yeah.
I love
put it in my
capers.
tartar sauce.
Yeah, I love capers.
Mm-hmm.
Kat says she likes celery for crunch, and I agree with that. I do like
Yes.
celery, but I'm usually
Now-
too lazy for it.
That's the thing is I buy a head of, or whatever you call it, a shaft.
Stock.
Oh, stock. Buy a stock
A
of.
shaft of celery.
Somebody smashed me in the face with a shaft of celery while I was walking in the parking lot. But I don't know what to do with the rest of it. You know, then I have to make hot wings or
Right. Yeah, that's true.
or ants on a log. Is nothing worse than ants on a log. Really?
I haven't had that in so long.
Yeah, because it sucks.
Yeah.
Nobody likes that.
It's weird.
Yeah. Remember that was like junk food when we were younger? Like that was like, ooh, what a great snack. And now kids are getting Uncrustables. You lucky pieces of shit. Okay. Sorry. So, yes, pickles are a very important part of any sandwich, I feel. And sometimes it can just be on the outside, but definitely with a tuna sandwich, you can't get enough pickle.
I could see that.
Yeah. I put it in there on top, all over.
They're liking the shaft comment.
One shaft of celery, please. Wait, is that the grouping or is that the... Yeah, so wait, you have a stalk or you have a shaft. Isn't that it?
I don't think so.
I think
Maybe.
I
think
feel like that's
it
right.
should be a thing at least.
Yeah.
We're just going to go with it.
Let's make a t-shirt. That way it becomes a thing. It's going to be in the future. Oh, by the way.
Look, Kat and Tammy. I'm kind of a big deal in Canada.
Yep. So it says anal right on my gut. Okay. Let's check out the next one, Roma. Because here's where it gets spicy.
Oh, yeah, it does.
So sliced jalapenos. Now we're layering pickled flavors, Roma.
Okay.
Yeah, we're really doubling down on the old PF. Yeah.
Kat said it's a bunch.
Me.
The graceful Grizzlies here.
Ooh,
Hi, guys.
what's up?
It's been a minute.
Yeah, totally. Awesome.
We're
Well, welcome to the show. I'm teaching everyone how to make sandwiches because I'm a purveyor of sandwiches.
Kim says she's totally asking for celery shafts at the grocery store.
You know, they're kind of greasy, you know, usually got a thing over 'em.
Heavy duty mayo.
Yes, totally, yes. Sorry, my hands are so greasy working with celery chefs.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah, so this one is up to you. You can also do pepperoncinis or banana peppers, you know,
Yeah.
whatever you like. But
Yeah.
like I said, can't get enough pickled on your tuna sandwich.
Yep.
That's and of course I love the spice on there. And it's funny because the spice is it's kind of like cheese. I was talking to someone and they were saying that that they had never heard of cheese on a tuna sandwich, which I didn't think of it now, but a tuna melt.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, how would you have a tuna melt? What are you melting on it?
Yep.
Plastic?
Nope. Cheese usually.
Yeah, baby's toys. A croc shoe. So, tomato. Your tomato should be big, decently thick cut, not too thick.
that a
And
beef
if you
steak?
notice, what's that?
Is that a beefsteak tomato?
I believe so, yeah. And the other thing that you may notice is there is a light sprinkling of kosher salt.
Okay.
So kosher salt should be really the only salt that you buy because you're not an animal. Nobody uses table salt.
I have pink salt.
Pink Himalayan salt, as long as it's a coarse. So what's important is the coarseness, because you measure salt in pinches. And so, if you're using a recipe, you can still use a spoon or whatever, but you just get good at, I put, a pinch of salt on each egg. So if I'm making 3 eggs, I do 3 pinches of salt.
Right.
And it's not like you're trying to it's not like you're grabbing the sands of time with,
Right.
with an iodized salt, because you can't. Let's see. So you salt your tomatoes. That will make them sweat a little more because the salt draws out the moisture. But still, it's going to be a messy sandwich anyways.
I think there's pepper in the tuna for Kim and Sarah. They were asking about pepper.
So I do a little bit of pepper in my tuna, but I don't go crazy on the pepper because, like, I don't pepper my eggs. I don't know. Maybe I'm a
I
little
love pepper.
light on my pepper, but egg salad, I do pepper. So I will pepper in that. And actually, one time I made it, it was slate gray.
Oh,
Because I
Jesus.
over peppered it a bit. I think I was a smoker back then. So I
Okay.
think and I think I was eating a lot of spicy food, so I just didn't even notice. Yeah, and so let's
The shredded lettuce.
little shredded lettuce. I was not as delicate with the knife as I could have been, but it's kind of a rustic sandwich, so you can go with a rustic cut,
Fair
a
enough.
chop, if you will. Now, I would also like green leaf lettuce. Green leaf is a good alternative if you want to get, you kind of layer it over itself, and it's kind of got the frilly edges. So when you look on a TV commercial or in a lot of restaurants, they'll use green leaf just because of the presentation.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, there's nothing wrong with
Good
with
old
some
fashioned iceberg. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like butter lettuce too.
yeah, butter leaf or yeah, that's definitely good too. It's not quite as crunchy, doesn't have quite as much snap to it, but it's all up to personal preference. And so go ahead and the other thing is cutting it on a diagonal.
Absolutely.
You need to cut it on a diagonal because that is the only way that it's impressive in any way. And you cannot cut it corner to corner, but you cut it just on an angle.
Okay.
So it's not corner to corner. So basically you have, because if you cut it corner to corner, you would have one crust that's good, that's the top crust,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'd have one crust that's just the shitty bottom and side crust. So so basically it just kind of cuts just off of center. If this wasn't such a well-built sandwich, I would also layer them over each other. So you can go to the next one for presentation.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how I would present it to someone. The only thing I didn't do was put the pickle up front because the pickle's in the back.
Relegated to the back.
Yeah, it's an unfair world. But if you can kind of see how it's cut now,
Mm-hmm.
where it still has a little bit on the back there. But yeah, this is how I would present it to someone. I would put it in front of them, like so.
I love it.
So I feel
I
like
really want a tuna sandwich right now.
yeah, all right. If I feel like if people take these little tips and please, keep let us build on it, because I'm always open to suggestions. These are just the best things I've learned over time, to I guess get the best results, get the results I like.
Steve S says that Clausens are the closest thing to barrel pickles you can get.
Yes.
And he also says he likes green cabbage as a nice healthy crunch.
That's, I don't know if I've ventured out of the fish taco, the street taco.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could. It would have to be sauerkraut. I'd have to have it pickled.
Graceful Grizzly says that YouTube title, "You won't believe how to make this sandwich. Number 3 will shock you." I love it.
That's true. The celery shaft. Yeah. We're going to hire Graceful Grizzly to get us some clickbait. Yeah, that stuff. We need to be better about that. So I hope that everyone enjoyed that. Now, there are some more pressing issues we have to get to, Roma.
Okay. Daniel says, however, it is fun to hide a pickle in the back. Kim says maybe chips inside the sandwich.
That's pretty funny, Dan. Had a pickle in the back. I think that's a butt joke. Yes. So actually, Kim, you want to know one of the things that made me the fattest in my life was there's this type of bologna, and it's wonderful, and the reason it's wonderful, or it would make sense because it's called wunderbar, which I believe means wonderful, in German.
Uh-huh.
And you could get it at Walmart. They had the pork, chicken, beef variety.
Okay.
And then they had the all beef variety. So it was like $2.99 a pound and then like $6.99 a pound. And so I would go up there and I'd be embarrassed. I'd feel like a drug addict or something. I'd be like, "Hey, let me get 2 pounds of that wunderbar." And they're like, "Oh, the beef, because you look like an adult person that would make good choices." And I'm like, "No, the $2.99 one," because I honestly liked how it tasted way better.
Yeah.
I accidentally got the $2.99 one, or the $6.99 one once, and it was terrible.
It ruined your day.
It really did. I got home and I was not happy. Because I used to put it on like a bagel with cream cheese, put the bologna on top, just it's so good. But what I would do, this is how I got super fat, is I would take rye bread, of course, because it's still delicious, strong, deliciousness.
Yeah.
Wunderbar, $2.99 a pound. No cheese, or I would do Swiss, one or the other. Store-bought potato salad, so like that Ryers or Risers or whatever. But
super sweet.
yeah, you can get it from Walmart too. You can just get theirs. And then potato chips on top of that.
Oh my God.
And, oh my God. So goddamn good. Such crunchy and creamy and just such a fat kid. Yeah, it was a very embarrassing portion of my life, but I look back on it fondly. And
well, at least there's that. No regrets.
I could feel myself slipping back into that. It's like a drug addict, It's like you're never that far away from your next hit. In Alcoholics Anonymous, they say you're only this far away from your next drink. Or this far. So that's how far away I am from my potato salad bologna chip sandwich.
Heart attack.
Well, that too, eventually. All right, Roma, let's move on to the next story.
Okay.
Anybody else?
We got all kinds of shit going on. Let's see. Steve S says that Wonder Bar at Wawa in Jersey. Mm-hmm. Graceful Grizzly says, let me get that $2.99 special with the sweaty smiling face.
Dude, absolutely. I would pace around the produce just like waiting for everyone to leave because I'm like, fuck. I want everybody to know what a piece of shit I am.
That's ridiculous. That's amazing.
Seriously.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, people were liking it.
Yeah, that's good. So there's a so Roma, we've hit a shortage in we were talking about that pickle spears could only be omitted from your sandwich whenever we have famine or war.
Mm-hmm.
So this next story is from the Washington Post, and this is from April 6th. Ketchup reportedly suffering from latest COVID era shortage.
Oh shit.
So if you scroll down, it'll kind of give us some ideas. So basically, prices for ketchup packets have spiked 13% since January 2020. There's an increased demand, and
How do you have an increased demand of ketchup? You would think that the same people that have been eating ketchup the entire time are still eating it.
Well, if you use the McDonald's app, you can put as many goddamn ketchup packets as you want.
Oh.
Actually, I think you only have a limited amount of things you can check out with. I think it's like 20 or something.
Okay.
But you can just add ketchup. So, like, let's say I get 2 hash browns in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I want at least 2 packets of ketchup, sometimes 3. What I'll put is 6.
Right.
And then I have extra ketchup because I believe that McDonald's ketchup is the best ketchup in the world.
So when I eat fries, I like to rip the ketchup packet like a little teeny tiny hole and then spread it on each individual fry as I eat it.
That's psychotic.
It's my favorite. It's so much better than dipping because you have an even layer of ketchup across each individual fry, but it takes a lot of ketchup. And you know, I always ask them, like, can I get extra ketchup? And they give me like 5. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, I need extra.
Yeah, I think that now you could order 1 large fry and 19 bags of ketchup, 19 packets. And generally the kids don't care. They just throw it in, kids or foreign people or whoever works there. People out of prison. I don't know. But,
all the above.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's great. So I don't know why. I think in there they talk about why it's. Let's see. Yeah, so basically they're talking about the takeout ketchup and that we might not have enough of it.
Slightly horrifying.
Yeah, so Heinz is urging restaurants to be patient while it works to increase its manufacturing capacity by 25%, so it can turn out more than 12 billion sachets a year.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of ketchup.
That's a lot of goddamn ketchup. So I'm glad I've been saving those ketchup packets.
Yeah, no kidding. I wish I would have been.
They said that, actually I heard a comedian in the 90s, and he said, no rich person keeps the soy sauce packets that come with their, Chinese food.
Yeah,
He's like, that's how you know if you're a poor person. You're going to be a poor person. And I'm like, damn it. I always save that shit.
Yeah.
Like, especially if I like because I like McDonald's barbecue sauce also.
Yeah.
I think it's good, tangy, and delicious. So.
High fructose corn syrup.
Yeah. So increased packet prices have driven the ketchup bill by $500,000 at the Long John Silver's fast food chain.
Damn.
So that's
Damn.
ketchup.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I just wanted to let everybody know, be sensible with your ketchup, okay? We do have the 4th coming up quicker than anyone thinks, so maybe save a couple of those packets just in case. You might need them. People will start selling their bodies for ketchup, I would assume. So
Sarah says we asked for ketchup once and they gave us a single packet.
Wow.
And she said that I'm Team Roma. It's genius.
I mean,
Graceful Grizzly says I make a ketchup jacuzzi and dip 7 fries at once.
Yeah. Wait, are you sitting naked in it, or because that's it's like, wait, where are these bubbles coming from?
Good
Who
stuff.
knows? So Romo, we're a big fan of freedom here. We
I
don't
like
like
to think so.
communism. We don't like Marxism.
Not a whole lot, no.
We feel like America is better, more free, and with less restrictions pushed on us by the government. So this next story I wanted to talk about is the Second Amendment. The Biden administration is addressing the public health, what is it, a public health epidemic? Yeah, violence being a public health epidemic in the U.S.
Okay. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, so obviously there's been shootings. That happens.
It does happen.
It's a thing. There are mentally unwell people. And certain politicians believe that infringing on people's rights, on the rights of people that are law-abiding, is the way to quell people that are not law-abiding or in their right mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, fortunately, we already have millions and millions and millions of guns in this country that... What can you do? You can't stop it. So I just kind of want to go through some of the proposed bills, legislation kind of thing that they're talking about, just to get people aware. And this is from the whitehouse.gov, if you want to bring it up.
Okay.
So
This one right here?
Nope. Should be
This one right here?
Yes. Yep. The one you were just on will be the next one once
Okay.
we move on. So the Justice Department, according to this, within 30 days is going to propose a rule to help stop the proliferation of ghost guns. You know what a ghost gun is, right?
I mean, is it one that's not registered, doesn't have a serial number?
Correct. So there is a, I guess, what some people refer to as a loophole. But a ghost gun is basically where you buy a kit, generally an AR-15, that you have to mill out some of the it's an incomplete build.
Okay.
You put it together yourself. There's no serial number on it. It's not traced. And it is illegal to sell that gun. So you can own it, but you cannot sell it to anyone.
Okay.
So that's where, where the law, stops it. So they said that while we are experiencing a growing problem, criminals are buying kits containing nearly all of the components and direction for finishing a firearm within as little as 30 minutes and using these firearms to commit crimes. I want to know how many.
Yeah, I do. I also want to know how many.
Because I'm very suspect over that.
Mm-hmm.
But they basically say the lack of serial number. I don't know if that's true. I would imagine, people will.
Well, but here's my thing is, how does a serial number stop a crime?
Tracing of it. So then they could trace it back to who got it from who and things. Yeah, it doesn't stop the crime, but you could figure out whose gun it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
At a certain time, and whether it got stolen or I get it, but not really. I just feel like they're making something out of something that is not a problem.
Right.
And speaking of which, the Justice Department within 60 days, these are the bold things. The Justice Department within 60 days will issue a proposed rule to make clear when a device marketed as a stabilizing brace effectively turns a pistol into a short barrel rifle, subject to the requirements for the National Firearms Act of 1939, I believe it was. So, or 1934. So this is what some call a SIG brace. So Sig Sauer, the rifle and pistol manufacturer, love their work. They created something called a Sig brace, which is the stock of an AR-15 that actually has a Velcro strap,
Okay.
and it kind of rides on your arm. Well, it's a stabilizing brace as a pistol. Now, the law was that if it then got put up against your shoulder like a buttstock,
Mm-hmm.
you were in violation, committed a felony, and then they could send you to prison.
Okay.
So then they rolled that back, I believe, to it not being a felony to shoulder a pistol with a
Okay.
brace. And so now they're saying that, people that, I don't know, it's I think is very stupid, because they're making people criminals that have not committed any crime. So they're saying that somebody in the Boulder tragedy
Mm-hmm.
used a pistol with an arm brace. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you cannot make millions of people, because I'm sure there's millions of them out there, criminals because of one person's actions.
Right.
That's not the way that you run any sort of a
Free society.
exactly. Yep. The actions of, a few crazy people do not dictate the laws.
Right.
But unfortunately,
Well, and it's just kind of ridiculous, because what if he hadn't used it?
yeah.
So I mean, he did use it versus not using it. He still shot people.
Yeah. What about all the rental trucks that people, were running people over with, Nice, France, and all over the place?
I think we should get rid of all of them.
Exactly. Yeah. I can't move furniture anymore.
Sorry, Dan.
Yep. Yeah. Dan's a terrorist. What can I say? So, the Justice Department within 60 days will publish model red flag legislation for states. So, you know how your federal government is always making those laws for states? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love it.
So, red flags laws allow family members and law enforcement to petition for a court order to temporarily barring people in a crisis from accessing firearms if they are a present danger to themselves or others.
Oh boy.
That sounds pretty subjective.
Yeah, it's super subjective.
And if you want to go to that tab you were just on, there was a gentleman in Maryland who was called in by, I think, his sister. There's also been cases of wives.
I was just going to say.
Ex-wives or whatever.
Yeah.
Or soon-to-be ex-wives calling on someone. So this gentleman answered the door. He's like 61 years old, answers the door with his gun. He puts his gun down when he sees it's the cops, like on, near the door or something, next to him or whatever. So here are the cops, and they say, "We're taking away your gun." And he says, "No, you're not." And they say, "Yes, we are." So they attack him. His gun goes off because he reaches for his gun, and the police shoot him. The one cop who attacked him, the second one shot the guy. So they come to his house. He answers the door with a firearm because he has the right to.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And you can answer the door to the pizza guy with a gun.
Yeah.
It's not polite, but, if it's it's your right to protect yourself.
Right.
And so.
Well, I actually know somebody who had a similar situation where they were in a relationship, they were ending the relationship, and everybody in his circle decided that he was acting irrationally and threatened to have his guns taken away.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't. He just wasn't doing what everybody thought he should be doing.
Mm-hmm. It's an unfortunate thing because people shouldn't be able to influence your life like that. And I get what the law is supposed to do.
Sure.
I get that. It's like, oh, this person is unsafe, so take some away. It's like, well, you can't. First of all, that's a bad situation to put police officers in.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
You cannot commit someone for a crime they have not committed.
Sure.
He hasn't done anything,
Mm-hmm.
or else they would have a warrant and they would be going to arrest him.
Right.
But instead, they're going and saying, hey, we're worried about you.
Right.
So we're going to take away your ability to, whatever. You're taking someone's freedom.
Right. Well, and you're also taking their property.
Of nothing. Yeah. Or for nothing. Yeah. For nothing you've done.
Mm-hmm.
So, I get it that there's people that are very
Unstable.
Yes. And that shouldn't, but generally those people shouldn't own guns as it is, if that's the case. If you are mentally ill or addicted to substances, and that's why when you go to buy a gun, it asks you, hey, are you mentally ill or addicted to substances?
I mean, I understand the point of red flag laws, but they'll be abused.
Yes.
They'll be abused. I mean, if you have a shitty neighbor who's pissed because your dog keeps shitting in their front yard and they say, oh, he's crazy and he owns guns, then so they just come and take your guns and, there's no trial or jury or.
Look what happened with swatting. Remember that? So swatting was where, and I think it started with gamers, actually, online gamers, but they would figure out where somebody else lived, and then they would call the SWAT team to their house by saying, oh, they've got a gun or a bomb or whatever. So then the SWAT team would show up and actually people got killed because they would kick in the door and somebody would be like, what the? And if they have a gun or whatever, they're trying to defend themselves. So then a guy comes in and just caps them.
Yeah.
So basically it's like murder. Great. This one's pretty good. So the administration is investing in evidence-based community violence interventions. So evidence-based community violence interventions.
What does that even mean?
I wonder if they're going into Chicago to do these and to, I wonder what the money's going to be used for. Since
apparently we're having buffering issues and and the people are suspicious that it has to do with what we're talking about.
Probably. I mean, Susan Wojcicki is pretty cool. She's the CEO or something of YouTube. So just some jobs plans and stuff. And the Justice Department will issue an annual report on firearms trafficking, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, well, maybe we should watch everything coming over the border, you think?
Roma, we're not going to count the people, just the guns, okay? There's actually the person who's in charge or who was in charge of the border stuff going on, just quit today. So that's interesting. So then the last one, the president will nominate David Chipman to serve as the director of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. So if you check the next screen there, Mr. Chipman is a firearms. What is it? A firearms. Nominate an official from a top gun control group to head up the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives.
Oh, this sounds really good.
Yeah. So David Chipman, a former ATF agent, now serving as a senior policy advisor at Giffords, an advocacy group founded by a former congresswoman and mass shooting survivor, Gabrielle Giffords, will get the nod from two sources familiar with Biden's thinking. God, that's such a shitty way to put it. Familiar with his thinking. So this is that lady that was shot, and I think down in Arizona or something. I can't remember who shot her, but they don't mention it in this article. So I'm guessing it was probably somebody who's not politically expedient to their causes. Sort of like how when the people in the Congress or the Senate were shot playing baseball, it was a Bernie bro.
Yep.
So
and nobody ever mentioned that.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that though. That's too much. So Yeah, anyways, of the stuff he said, nothing seemed too, too crazy
Yet.
yet. Yeah. And of course it's kind of like the assistant secretary of health that isn't willing to tell you what they want to do with children transitioning and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just basically the same.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Second Amendment is probably, arguably, the second most important. Our freedom of speech, being here, sort of being allowed to say anything we want for the most part.
Except for when YouTube's buffering us.
That's true. But we will have the full episode up later, and you can make sandwiches right along and polish your gun. So we can't give up the rights that we have for safety. Someone that gives up their rights for safety does not deserve either.
Mm-hmm.
I came up with that.
I think the quote says security, but
safety, security. So every little bit that they take, you rarely ever get it back, and then it just leads to more and more control. Oh, and let's play this last one, Roma. Let's play the YouTube. So this lady is a World War II. She lived in Austria, and I think she kind of tells about it, but she has a message for us about, kind of how things progress and how things turn out. So I think
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Kitty Worthman.
Thank you very much. I was born in Austria, and I lived there 7 years under Hitler's brutal regime. And after World War II, 3 years under Soviet communist occupation.
That's rough.
In 1938, the media reported that Hitler rolled into Austria with tanks and guns and took us over. Not true at all. The Austrian people elected Hitler by 98% of the vote by means of the ballot box. Now, you might ask, how could a Christian nation, almost 100% Catholic, to elect a monster like Hitler? The truth is, at the beginning, Hitler didn't look like or talk like a monster at all. He talked like an American politician.
I bet he did.
Mm-hmm.
We also had gun registration. Oh, the Austrian people they all had guns. But the government said the guns are very dangerous. Children are playing with guns, hunting accidents happen, and we really have to have total control, safety. And we had criminals again. And the only way that we can trace the criminal was by the serial number of the gun.
Ugh.
So we dutifully went to the police station and we registered our guns.
Yep.
Not long after, they said, no, it didn't help. The only way that we don't have accidents and crimes, you bring the guns to the police station, and then we don't have any crimes anymore and any accidents. And if you don't do that, capital punishment. So that's what we did. So dictatorship didn't happen overnight. It took 5 years, gradually, little by little, to escalate up to a dictatorship. When the people fear the government, that's tyranny. But when the government fears the people, that's you, that's liberty.
Absolutely.
Crazy, right?
Keep your guns, keep your guns and buy more guns.
Hell yeah.
Red pilled as shit. Yeah. Totally, yeah. You can get it now. Yeah, I just wanted to include that because
I mean, she would know. She was there.
she seems to have taken part. She said, what, 7 years under Hitler and 3 years under the communists? That's nuts. That lady has some perspective on political swings.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So, you know, and who can you believe more than her
Right.
as to how something could go wrong? She, you know, even when she was talking about how Hitler was elected by 98%.
Yep.
You know, first of all, I mean, does that mean that Hitler's the most popular person that's ever run for Chancellor of Austria?
Maybe.
Interesting. We have a very popular president right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, do you think Hitler's vote was fortified? Probably.
I was going to say,
Probably was.
yeah.
Or some intimidation or something.
I'm sure the elections were fair.
Absolutely. Yep. No one ever has any reason to try to steal the power of a nation.
Right.
Yeah.
Kat's saying her stream is still down.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're having a lot of issues here. Gee, I wonder why.
Oopsies.
Sarah says hers is okay right now.
Yeah. It's probably Trudeau. He's probably stopping. Go XL pipeline.
Woo.
Let us through.
Mm-hmm.
Let the internet through. That barren pipeline that you helped elect, Trudeau. The bad Trudeau. The son Trudeau. The fruity one.
Mm-hmm.
So, Roma, I really wanted to save the saddest news for last.
Okay.
There's been a tragedy. Are you familiar with Earl Simmons, aka Darkman X?
If you're talking about DMX, then yes.
Well, Roma, he's dead.
God damn it.
Come on, man.
I'm upset.
Yeah. I mean, really, that fits like every emotion you could possibly have. So
Yeah, it was a heart thing. I think he was like 50.
a drug addict or a drug addiction.
Drug
actually.
addiction. Okay.
So probably a heart thing caused by being 50 and still
Having a drug addiction. Yeah.
Drug abuse issues. So his stage name is DMX. He was born in 1970. He had a career started in the 90s as a rapper, actor, you know, producer, songwriter, all that stuff. So he had let's see. So and then there was X. Another hit was Party Up in Here.
Oh,
Y'all
yeah.
gonna make me lose my mind. He was always talking about dogs and stuff. My dogs, you know. But probably my favorite, well, X gonna give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, X gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
X gonna give it to you. Yeah. He was Jet Li's foil in many movies.
I did not know that.
Karate movies.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, basically like the
So he knew
black hip hop
karate.
guy, and then the
Yeah.
kind of like Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So they did several movies together. Romeo Must Die. I think Exit Wounds. I feel like he was in a Steven Seagal movie.
Okay.
Can't remember though. I wish.
So he knew karate.
No.
Oh.
He
was
just did drugs
okay.
and barked and wore flashy chains. Yeah, but you know, a good dude. Guess how many kids he had, Roma?
6.
Higher.
12.
Higher.
Are you kidding me?
No.
16.
15.
Damn.
You went over, Roma. We're playing Price is Right rules.
Damn it.
Yep, 15.
God. That is unbelievable.
All from the same woman, though.
I was just going to say it was the same woman.
So that's good.
I don't think so. She'd be wrecked.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
You'd be constantly pregnant. She'd have to be pregnant for 16 years.
I mean, they started early, so that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
So, yeah, I guess I'm
There's
just...
a lot of sad children out there right now.
Well, unless depends on how much money he had.
Yeah, that's true, too.
Let's look
Could
up
you-
DMX's net worth.
Yeah, could you imagine being DMX and you're their kid and he dies and you're like, hell yeah, I'm going to get a bunch of money, and then you get to split it 16 ways.
If you didn't know,
Right.
you just never looked into it. You're like, only child of a famous rapper from the 90s. Okay. So DMX net worth, according to celebritynetworth.com, negative $1 million at the time of his death.
Oh, shit.
Dang.
Oof. Yeesh.
Unfortunately, in the last decade of his life, DMX struck. Wow, they already got it all updated and everything. I guess when somebody famous dies, they probably, that's their time to shine.
Yeah, welcome to the internet.
Unfortunately, the last decade of his life, DMX struggled personally, financially, and legally. He has been incarcerated a number of times. In 2013, he declared bankruptcy, listing just $50,000 in assets and between $1 million to $10 million worth of liabilities.
Damn.
In 2017, he was charged with 14 counts of tax fraud and landed him a 1-year sentence in jail and a debt to the tune of $2.3 million.
God.
Tragically, DMX died on April
we
9th,
sure-
2021 at the age of 50, suffering from complications due to a drug overdose.
Yeah, are we sure it wasn't suicide?
Well, I mean, kind of hard to tell. But it's interesting because you look at guys like Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. and I don't know. I was talking to somebody about Kurt Cobain,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, he died at the right time. I was like, he didn't have anything.
Yeah.
You can't top. I mean, maybe, but God.
Well, it's that 27 club. You're just old enough to have made it big,
Mhm.
but not too old to have, fallen from that fame.
Or, come out with your shitty second album or third album, or, you're just not, I don't know. Some people just die at the right time.
Yep.
And I feel like Jimi Hendrix and Kurt Cobain and stuff. It's like, because otherwise you just become irrelevant or die of a drug overdose. So.
Well, we're coming
you're
up
too
on the
old.
end of the show.
Yeah.
Sorry, DMX.
Yeah.
You'll be
I'm sorry.
sorely missed.
I mean, I feel like his DVD sales from the 90s are probably really going to go up. No Blu-rays. Nothing came out on Blu-ray. Just DVDs. And
Maybe they
VHS.
will now.
Maybe. Yeah, you'll get like 14 movies
Yeah.
for like $5. I mean, I'd probably pick it up. You got 15 kids to feed. So. So, everyone, you can check us out on the Sensible Sociopath Podcast.com. It's our new website. We have our video episodes up on there, our audio episodes. It's great on mobile. And the best part is merch in the shop. So if you want to support the show, we would love it because we are big fans of people who are big fans of us.
Yeah, and also be the coolest kid in the grocery line.
That is true. People be like, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
And all of the shirts have a little logo on the back and then the big logo on the front so that it helps promote. So people don't have to stare at the front of you. You can just be like, oh, look at my back. If you want to know what it says. So I think that's a really thoughtful thing we did.
Absolutely.
And we do have several styles that are both male and female or intersex.
Go check them out. Lots of colors.
Non-binary. We do have a 2% non-binary audience.
Nice. You can find me on Instagram at the Sensible Sociopath Podcast.
Yes, the Sensible Sociopath Podcast on Instagram. On Patreon, this show is made possible by our contributors. So thank you, Steve S. and Sarah. We appreciate your help because it's helped us start our website and do all that. And so maybe we'll move all of our subscription stuff over to there. But you can listen to us on all major podcasting platforms. Please like us, give us a 5-star review on Apple Play and those sorts of things, or Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to us here on YouTube, BitChute and Rumble. We are also on, and visit our website, sensiblesociopathpodcast.com.
Absolutely.
And Roma, it's been a lot of fun.
It has. It's been a good show.
And I hope all of you have some great tuna sandwiches now.
Heck
After us sharing all we know.
Have a good night, guys.
Best
Bye.
podcast in the world.
The world would not be the same.
I like it.
No wonder my anxiety's so high.
Few people laughed. Few people cried.
Oh, what's in the box?
Most people were silent.
And that was it.
Now I am become death,
Sounds like a bad time.
the destroyer of worlds.
Yeah, so this doesn't seem like a great idea to me.
I suppose we all thought that, one way or another.
You didn't tell me any of that. That's crazy.
Well, Roma, when you're a hero, you don't tell everyone until you're on your podcast.
I'm about to hear some shit.
We all need to laugh.
I think just sitting down and, listening to...
The Sensible Sociopath. This is the shit you're supposed to be watching.
Gen X is going to love it. Millennials are going to be like, I'm offended.
You have offended me.
Also, my dog has a giant dick.
Oh my god, that's enormous.
I love it.
It's still a racist dog whistle.
Where you kind of have like a rotating cast of characters.
We're talking baby seals, eagles, wolves.
I'm just glad we're not going to have to eat with racism anymore.
It's worse than the butthole.
We're technically considered propaganda.
It is very contagious.
I think we really need to talk about environmentalism.
Like, are they studying pine cones?
Make yourself a nice stingray omelet. That's how Steve Irwin died. Cholesterol.
It's fucking delicious.
His father had ended up killing his mother and committing suicide.
In that order?
That's diabolical. I like it.
They had an apple gun where he could shoot Bigfoot.
Has she always been retarded?
I mean, she could have had a head injury.
You don't know anything about tartar sauce.
He had picked up a 400-pound statue and was like walking around with it.
Was the statue racist?
I'd like to think so.
It's like how they invented bacon and avocado to make a turkey sandwich tolerable.
I have a fear of fire.
Like a werewolf? Daniel, you've been our greatest viewer. Well, Daniel and Sarah and Katrina.
Daniel!